So I will start to share my screen. You didn't able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when we say Java, no, like what basic thing you mind will come to know into in your mind? Okay, I have created Java. I have to create Java program, right? What basic thing you have to do first? Anyone can answer that? You can post it in chat. So okay, I have decided I want to
Yeah.
go do some Java project. What is the first thing I have to do?
Create a project in Eclipse and create a class.
Yes. So creating a project comes, and creating a class is the first step to do, right? So in Java, Java is a completely object-oriented program, right? You cannot go and do a scripting kind of thing as you do in Python and all or Ruby. So everything has to be declared in a class. So without declaring anything in a class, nothing is possible in Java, right? So getting the basic point. So everything, even if it's a small declaration, any small variable declaration, int a is equal to 0, that has to be declared in a class, right? So class is a basic building structure of any Java project, right? But why we have to have a class? Can anyone? So okay, instead of why, what is a class then? Class is a collection of uh, similar functionalities which is related to similar kind of things, right? What I mean by similar kind of things is like what structures a class, what class composes of. Class composes of any variable declaration, right? And class might have constructors. We'll come to what are these things in detail shortly, right? And class might contains argumented constructor also. And class may or may not have a main method, right? And it has some other methods which we write for some purposes, right? So other methods may include getters or setters. We'll come to what is getters or setters in a while, or some generic methods built to for some generic purposes, right? So we are having everything in a class, but what is the purpose of a class ultimately, right? Can anyone answer that? We are having variable declaration, we are having constructors, we might have argumented constructors, main method, and other generic and getter setter methods. But why we are doing all these things, and what's the purpose of doing all these things? Can anyone? Okay, let me answer that. Class is some kind of grouping of certain things. So you will define a property, change a property of a particular element or a particular thing. Right? For example, let's say automobile is a class, right? And I wanted to declare two elements in the particular automobile class. What is the car company which is coming under the automobile section? Let's say car company. And what is the year in which the car company started? Okay, year of starting. So at any point of time, automobile is a class. So in this particular class, what I want to do is do a logical grouping of what is the car company inside the automobile class, which I'm going to declare, and what is the year. Sorry, it's a year of starting of that company. So these are the two variables that particular class has, or two properties that particular class has, right? So at any point of time, I will be able to do some actions over these variables, or do some manipulations over these particular variables, or create some new variables itself uh, uh, with a new instance of a class. You're getting my point, right? So automobile is a generic term, right? Automobile, when I say automobile, it has an object called car company, an object called year of starting. But still it can be in any car company, right? I can have Ford, I can have Suzuki, I can have Honda, right? So each company and year of starting represents different object in your memory. I'll just show a practical example. Let's try to create that class itself. So how will you create a class? Right click, you say new, and you create the class itself. You don't have to create a main method now, just leave this for now, and you just click on finish. Okay. So as you can see, it has come under this package initial. So package declaration is done, and it has created a class with the class keyword declaration and with access modified public. Right? So what are the properties I need this for class? As I mentioned previously, what is the car make, car company, and year of starting of that company. So these are the two properties that I'm going to have in this automobile class, right? Let's declare the car make in string. And I'm going to declare year of manufacturing in integer. So string is some kind of class in Java which holds a string variable. String is obviously everyone would be aware of what is a string, right? It's a collection of set of characters, right? And I say integer. Integer is something which holds numeric values, right? So int year of manufacture. So as you can see here, I've declared two things: string make of the car and int year of manufacture. Why I didn't initialize anything? I can just initialize like this, right? Equal to Maruti, something like this. It is also possible, but why I didn't do this? Anyone has an answer for this? Okay, we'll come to that. So for sake of simplicity, let's have the class like this, and let's have a main method. Sorry, constructor now, right? So what's a constructor? Anyone is aware of what is a constructor? Hello, you can post in chat because it's kind of I'm talking alone, right? So yes, someone said used to initialize object. Yes, but how we are initializing object? Constructor is called at the time of object creation itself, right? So let's see some example. Constructor takes the same name as a class name. So I'm going to declare only two components here. What is the access modifier of the constructor, whether it's a public, private, or protected? What is the constructor name? Constructor name is similar as a class name, right? So I'm just going to declare a constructor here. I'm just going to leave it as empty for now. So I'm just going to create a main method here. What's the main method? Main method is something where the execution starts, right? So without the main method, in a generic Java project, execution will not happen. So you have certain frameworks where you can run a Java project without the main method itself. But in a generic Java kind of projects, without a main method, execution will not happen, right? So what is a syntax for a main method? Public static void main. You don't have to know everything in this particular line, what is public static and all. We'll be going to see all those things in the upcoming classes, but just to know, this is kind of a syntax for declaring a main method, right? They should be in the main, this kind of letters itself, main in small, right? You cannot alter this. args command and arguments. So inside this main method, I just wanted to create an object for this automobile class. So how I'm going to do that? Can anyone unmute and say?
With the help of new keyword.
Yes. Yes, correct. Automobile AU is equal to new keyword is used to create an memory inside our RAM, right? So whenever you declare a new keyword, our whenever the program is execution, our code will know, okay, new keyword is declared. I have to create some memory for this particular automobile object in a memory space in the RAM somewhere in some random memory like that. Our code will know, so it will create the particular memory block. So I can just say like this also, without initializing this new, I can just go and declare like this. So what is the difference if you don't? It is also possible, just throwing me a warning here, right? The AU is not used. So what is the difference between declaring a new and just declaring like this and creating a new operator? Just declaring like this will not do anything at all. It will not going to create a memory for this particular object, right? It's not going to instantiate this particular object in memory. Only by declaring the new keyword, right, it is going to create a particular space for you in memory, so that this particular automobile object is in the memory or whatever you create, right? You're getting my point, right? What's the difference between creating an object with new keyword or without new keyword? So when you just declare automobile AU, it's kind of initializing. It's not going to create any memory for you. But when you create something like equal to new automobile, it is going to create a kind of a space for you in memory. So that is a key difference. Without creating a space for you in memory, even you're going to call the method in the particular class, or any operation you're going to do in the class will not work, because memory itself is not created, right? This automobile is, as we know, it's a class, and this AU is an object for this class. New is a keyword it's used to create a memory. But what is this automobile?
We are calling constructor.
Yes. So why constructor is called every time we create an object? Because we are calling constructor here. It is not a class name, it's a constructor name, right? So because of we are doing explicitly calling the constructor at the time of object creation, the whatever inside this constructor will be executed, right? That's the basic idea. Let's try to print something here in command line.
Karthik, can constructor name be different than the class name?
No, it cannot be different. It has to be in the class name only in Java. Fine, right? That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, Karthik, if we don't initialize object of the class, then by default constructor would be called, or it would
No,
not
it
be
will not
called.
be called.
Okay.
I'll just show you the example here itself. So I'll just print in the constructor, just constructor is called. I just print like this. I'll just command this, and I'm just going to if you want to comment, you know, right? If you put forward slash 2 times, it's a single line comment in Java. So I'm just going to declare this. I'm not going to initialize in memory. So we'll just try to run this particular program. Let's see what happens. So nothing happens, right? Nothing prints in the console, right? What only main method is executed, just declaration is happening, nothing is happening. So it's not doing anything because we didn't say program to do anything after this line of step, right? But when you create a constructor like this by initializing the object like this, so this constructor is called, so whatever inside this piece of constructor will be executed. Let's try to execute the same program now. So now constructor is called, right? So this is how it works, right? So you want, if you want to create a call a constructor, or if you want to use an object, if you want to create a memory for an object in RAM, everything is possible by this particular piece of code only, nothing else. Sorry. So I just wanted to ask you people, let's take this line number 17 as an example. What is the object here?
AU.
Okay, who is this actually?
Myself, Achal Karthik.
Okay. So anyone has any other answer? What is the object here?
New automobile is an object.
Okay, why is that?
Sagar.
Okay, yes, Sagar is right. New automobile is the object, not AU. AU is kind of a holding reference for that object, right? We are not going to have to declare new automobile everyone, because every time you declare new automobile, it's going to create a new object for you. So if you want to use one particular object for many different purposes, you have to create a kind of a reference variable like this and assign that particular object here, so that every time when AU is used, our kind of executor will know, okay, every time this particular piece of code is going to execute the particular command in the particular object only, like that. Okay, I'll just make it clear what I mean by that. Okay, instead of creating something like AU, let's say Honda. I think it will be more obvious now. So Honda is kind of a newly created object. Object creation happens here, but we are going to have a reference variable called Honda for this particular object, right? So whenever this line number 17 is declared or executed, what our Java will do, it will go and create some new memory space in the RAM with the object reference named Honda. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of initialize these variables, right? With just a Honda declaration will not do anything. I have to initialize this car, make, and year of manufacturer, right? For the purpose of doing something in our class. So I'm just going to assign those values. So how I'm able to do that is like, just call that object Honda dot car make is equal to Honda, right? And Honda dot year of manufacturer is equal to, let's say, 1996. Sorry, it is an integer. Okay. So can anyone say like what is happening here? Why we have to do that like this? Honda object is created, but it's an empty object, right? We didn't assign any value to car make and year of manufacture, right? So everyone getting my point, right? Honda is an object, but it doesn't contain any value. Okay? So we didn't initialize this car make and year of manufacture explicitly by giving some value here equal to something blah blah, or we didn't initialize these values in the constructor itself. We'll see what is the constructor initialization. But somebody had to say okay, this particular Honda object has this particular values, right? Value of car make is Honda, value of year of manufacture is 1996. So we are just declaring that here, right? Making sense? Hello. Yes. So I'm just going to print in console.
So are you declaring value here? Honda dot car make equal to Honda.
Yes, I'm declaring the value here only in line number 19 and 21, not elsewhere. So once the execution comes to this line only, then only the value of Honda will be assigned to this particular object. This particular object is what? This Honda object is what? It is of the type of class automobile, right? Automobile has two variables, one of string car make, one of integer year of manufacture. We are not declaring any values, right, for those two variables. Only at line 19 and 21 we are declaring these values, but we are declaring these values inside what object? Inside Honda object, right? So we'll just try to print and see what is there in the Honda object. Details of Honda are. I'm just going to print the thing. Able to see my screen, right, everyone? I hope everyone is able to see my screen. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is here is like I'm just going to print the details of this Honda car make and year of manufacture. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. We'll just try to run this program. Okay. So now the constructor is executed. Whatever the constructor is only called first, right, in line number 17 in this piece of code. And then we are assigning this Honda 1996. Then we are printing the same objects, car make and year of manufacture. Let's for the testing sake, let's comment this particular line out and try to run the same program again. We are only setting the year of manufacture. We are not setting the car make, right? Let's see what happens. The previous run result was Honda 1996, and here it's coming as null, right? So can everyone able to understood, right, what is happening here?
Whenever we declare a class, declare a string,
Mhm.
It will by default assign as null.
Yes, right. But the same null will be applicable for this int year of manufacturer also, or what? That's my another question.
Yeah,
What?
but we have initialized value 1996 with the help of reference variable.
Okay, let's uncomment this and let's comment this out. Now what will be the output here?
Honda null.
No.
Sorry, it will be some garbage value. So
Okay, it is 0, right? It is not null. So here comes the next question. Why
Okay.
string comes as null? Why integer is not coming as null?
because a string variable doesn't assign any memory, and when we declare a string, empty string, it doesn't assign any memory or any doesn't point to any memory. But for integer, if we declare, I think it will points to a memory.
Okay, okay, that is not the answer. The thing is what, string is a class and int is not a class. That's the difference, right? Because you can see here java.lang is a package where string class is there. You can see the C symbol, right? Wherever C is there, it represents class. Whereas if you hover over the int, Nothing is happening, right? Because int is a keyword in Java, right? It's not a class in Java. That's a key difference. Whenever you're declaring a particular object, car make is an object, year of manufacture is an object, but every object has its type, right? Car make is of type string, year of manufacture is type of int, right? Int is not a class here, but string is a class here. Whenever you declare a type of object of a type a class, then whenever you're not going to assign any value for that, then it will be by default null. Whereas null values don't apply to this primitive data type. We call this int, we call float, we call double as a primitive data type, which cannot hold a value of null. You just cannot simply go and declare it as null. It will throw an error, right? It's throwing an error. Type mismatch cannot convert null to int. But whereas you can go and declare the string as null, because string is a class which supports null type, right? So only this is coming as null and this is coming as 0 when we don't declare it. You're getting my point, right? Or is there any confusion? We'll clear it now only.
Sir, what if we replace int with an integer? Is integer in class?
Yeah, integer is a class. Integer is a wrapper class. I thought of going that over a little later. Let's check now itself. So integer also we can declare like we do for string. Integer is kind of a wrapper class over the int primitive data type. What I mean by wrapper class is like wrapper classes are something which is written over a particular piece of code or particular piece of class to have some extra functionality. So that the name itself implies it's a wrapper, right? We are covering something something to have additional capabilities over it. So if you go and see this integer class, it is extending the number class, implementing the comparable interface, right? Again, what it is having int only, right? Declared inside it with a minimum value and maximum value. Even it has primitive data type like int, but this particular int is wrapped in a class called integer, right? It is covered in a class called integer with some additional capabilities like in what integer minimum value, maximum value, and there are some inbuilt methods into it, right? To string, to hex string. So this kind of extra additional capabilities we are giving to the particular integer. So only this is integer class is called wrapper class over the int primitive data type. Now if we go and execute the same thing, instead of 0 it will come as null. We'll just remove this null. Commenting it out, we'll try to run the same program. So it's coming as null, right? So everyone getting here a point, right? So whenever you have a class, then only null can happen, or you can assign the null value to an object of type of any class. Whenever you declare primitive data type int or float or double, you cannot set as null. That's a basic idea here. So are we clear here?
Yes, Karthik.
Okay.
Yes.
Other people? Okay. Okay. Now, what I wanted to do is like just showing another example. Let's say I'm having Toyota as an another object here, right? I can create n number of objects for a particular class, right? Automobile Toyota is equal to new automobile, right? So you didn't got the point, right? Why you are declaring this kind of thing? We are declaring class and a reference variable name is equal new automobile. This is a convention how you create an object or instantiate an object, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give some values here. Toyota. So now what will happen if I print the same line here? What will happen? I'm just trying to run the same program. I just uncombine this. Now what will be the output of my program?
The previous values should
Same as before,
Why like that?
because we are calling the Honda reference only. We are not printing Toyota value.
Okay, so that's the basic idea, right? Toyota, even though it's of type automobile, it's an entirely different object in entirely different memory location in our RAM, right? So it is not going to print those values. But why 2 times this is printed?
Because we are initializing object 2 times, so we are
Yes.
calling new automobile twice.
Yes. So that's the basic idea. So kind of, are we clear here now, everyone? You can assume like automobile is kind of a blueprint, right? And every object we create is a copy or a kind of a main copy of that original blueprint, right? So blueprint is a kind of a master copy, and you're creating each and every object. It's kind of a main copy of that blueprint. So main copy is not necessarily cannot represent the master copy. It can have some changes also, right, from the blueprint. Or let's say you can consider class as a kind of a original document which you have with some fill in the blanks kind of thing. So every time you are creating an Xerox copy of the main document, you're going to put that fill that gaps with the new values, right? This is of an object works. So you cannot just go and say each copy is not different, different from the original, right? But still it has the original contents or original representation, original format. But still, if you're going to fill different values in those fill in the blanks kind of columns, right? So each copy represents different values or different proposition of the original document, not necessarily the original document itself. And each copy is different, right? You may fill one value in one copy, you may fill another value in another copy. So an object is a representation of the class, right? Some people would have got the idea as kind of an object. Classes are the collection of objects, something like that. It's not like that. Classes are not collection of objects. Object is a representation of a class, right? So you're getting the idea here, right? By declaring Honda, I'm representing the class automobile by Honda. I'm declaring Toyota, I'm representing the class automobile with Toyota. So that is how it works in Java, right? Or any other object-oriented programming language. This object is kind of a representation, not a collection of class. That's a point which I wanted to make. So are we clear here? Hello?
yes.
Okay. And if I say Toyota car make and Honda year of manufacture, it's also possible, right? Now what will be the output?
It will print Toyota, and it will print 1996.
Yes. So it's Toyota 1996. Why? Because we are calling Toyota's car make, which we declared here, but we are calling Honda's year of manufacturer, right? These are totally different things. Until you got the point.
Yeah, actually, I didn't see कि you have called Honda year of manufacture. I thought it's Toyota year of manufacture.
Okay. So the idea is this: the Toyota and Honda are totally entirely different entity, entirely different objects, which is present in memory in entirely different area. So whatever value we are going to declare inside this Toyota class will not affect here, vice versa. Even though this both car make and year of manufacture is present the same class automobile, right? That's a basic idea. So
Another
now,
input from my side.
Mhm.
Like if we again write in line number 25,
okay,
if we write Honda.CarMake equal to Toyota,
okay, let's do that. Let's do that one more time. You're saying this only, right?
yes. Now
Okay.
if we type,
Now what will happen?
but in print, if you type instead of Toyota, you need to print type Honda.CarMake.
Okay. So I think Sagar, you know the answer. I hope if you know the answer, can any other people can say what will be the answer here?
I guess Toyota only.
Okay. What about other people?
Both Honda and Toyota will come because there is an object Honda dot car make equal to Honda, and again Honda dot car make equal to Toyota. Two things will come.
Okay. Let's do this. No, only Toyota is coming. Why? Because even though we declared Honda here, we are changing that value here, right? Again. So that original value is overwritten. Right? See, the Honda is an object. I said is a copy of a original document which represents a certain area in the memory. You assign that value as a Honda initially, but what I'm going to do, it's kind of, this line is kind of a taking a rubber, erasing it, and putting a new value called Toyota there. Right? Now, what will happen if this line is executed? That Honda will be erased in the memory, and Toyota will be replaced in that particular area, because Honda is only one object representation there. It cannot have two values there, right? You cannot hold Honda or Toyota at the same time. If you want to do, you can declare as a array, not with a single data type like a string. I hope it's not confusing, Dipta Das, right? No, if it's confusing, we can go over this again.
No, it's clear.
Okay. So what are we doing? We are just overriding this value Honda with Toyota here. Okay. So the Honda will be erased from the memory. Toyota will be replaced at this line. Then Toyota is only set in this Honda object. Then it is printed here. Same goes for this year of manufacturers. You can change at any point. Whatever that latest will be holded in the memory of the particular object. Okay. One more thing I wanted to take in this today's session is like, see, I have declared an constructor here, but it is necessary for me to declare a constructor. Constructor is only called here, fine. But is it necessary for me to declare a constructor here?
No, it is not necessary.
Why it is not necessary? Yeah, I have deleted this. Nothing happened here, right? Let's execute the same program now.
Yeah, I guess it depends on requirement. Like if you're, by default it will call the constructor, but if you really want to initialize value or want to print something via constructor, so then only we would initialize. Otherwise, by default, it will be calling a default constructor and won't print or won't do anything.
Yes. So in this case, default constructor will be called. What's the default constructor? We don't have to explicitly define any constructor here. Implicitly, the same constructor will be no argument constructor, empty constructor will be called, right? Constructor will be still called, but it is invoked implicitly. We didn't from the Java, we didn't do it explicitly through our code. That's the only difference. But it is always good practice to do a or declare a constructor explicitly. Sorry, even though there is nothing here, right? Let's delete this piece of code. Even though there is nothing here, it's always good practice to declare this constructor explicitly, right?
What I have experienced that in Selenium framework, when designing a Selenium framework,
Mhm.
constructor is very much necessary, because the interface WebDriver which we use for a particular class, and that same WebDriver is used in the entire all the classes and all the packages. In that
Okay.
way,
This is one example. What is another example? It's like there is one framework called Jackson. Anyone have heard of this particular thing called Jackson?
I haven't.
Okay. Jackson is something which will convert used for serialization and deserialization, right? What I mean by serialization, you have a Java object here. If I want to serialize, I have to take this Java as an object. I mean, Java class is an object, which can be used or represented inside a Java kind of library only, right? Inside a Java environment. You cannot just go and read this particular thing outside this particular Java project, right? Because it doesn't make sense outside Java because it's a Java class. But what if you want to read this car make and manufacturer outside world? What if I wanted to do this in a browser, or if I'm sending the data over the system to another system? I wanted to read this particular car making year of manufacture there. There's something process called serialization. You have to convert this particular Honda object, serialize it, and send over the internet to another system or another location where I can read this Honda's car manufacturer and car make. Right? That is called serialization. And what's deserialization? Opposite. I am receiving the data from outside system. I have to convert into a Java class, right? So Jackson is a framework which supports this particular kind of serialization, deserialization. Even though you don't use anything inside this no argument constructor, still Jackson will be expecting this no argument constructor to do all these things. This is an example of why we need to explicitly define a constructor, because in many frameworks or many libraries, that library will be expecting a no argument constructor there, because implicitly it has to do some work with that particular no argument constructor. So if I'm not clear, it's totally fine, because the action is not important here. What I wanted to emphasize is like uh, it's always good to declare no argument constructor. That's the point, right? Even though if you don't do anything there. But again, one more thing is popping into my mind. Why we have to declare something where nothing is happening? What is the purpose of that? Nothing is happening in this. But why we have to still do this? Or let's put this question in another way. Can something be done this here so that it will be useful for us?
We can initialize values.
Yes, very much yes. That is the main purpose of constructor, right? So what I'm doing here, I'm declaring an object here. I'm initializing value Honda 1996 here. Let's, for sake of simplicity, let's delete this Toyota thing. But every time why I have to declare this explicitly by calling too much piece of code? Honda.car make is equal to Honda year of manufacture is equal to 1996, everything. Why can't there be some simpler way so that I can declare this value at the creation of object itself? For example, at the line number 18 itself, what if I can be able to do everything at the time of creation of object itself? Wouldn't that be nice, right? Our piece of code will be very simpler, and we don't have to make explicit declarations here. We'll know for sure at the time of object creation, Honda object creation itself, car make will be Honda, and year of manufacture will be 1996 only, right? So for that purpose, I'm going to create one more constructor here. we can go and create n number of constructors. I hope you people are aware of that. Again, what is a constructor declaration? Automobile. But instead of being an empty constructor with empty arguments, I'm going to declare two arguments here. One of type string to take the value of car make, or for simplicity, let's say this as make to make it less confusing, and integer year. Okay, open and close this. So I declared two arguments to get this car make and year of manufacturer, but how I'm going to assign this value from this argument to this particular declared variables? How I'm going to do that through constructor? Can anyone say? That's enough, right? Hello.
Can you please repeat the question again?
So what is the one thing that we have to do so that whatever value we get from this argument can be assigned to this particular variable we declared here? Simply assign the values, right? That's going to be more than enough. Car make is equal to make. So by this line of code, what will happen? This particular car make value will be assigned to whatever we are declare or what got the value from this constructor argument, and it's going to be assigned to this particular car make. I'll just show with example. For example, let's remove this line and just try to create an argument with constructor itself, Honda and 1996 here. So now what will happen? The object will be created, but constructor will be called with this piece of code. But what constructor will be called? This is a no argument constructor, and this is an argument constructor with two arguments, right? Our Java will know to search for the argument of similar type, right? What's this type here? This type is first argument is of type string, second argument is type integer, right? So our Java will know, okay, I don't have to call this constructor. I have to call this constructor only because it matches with my argument number and type. So this constructor will be called. Now we got Honda here and 1996 here, right? And we are just assigning this value to this car make and year of manufacturer in line number 13 and 15. So in this way also you can go and assign the values to our car make and year of manufacturer, and if you go and print the same line of code here, similar results will happen, right? Execute this, same result only, right? So instead of you doing explicitly every time Honda car make is equal to Honda year of manufacture to 1996, you can just pass it in a constructor. Because constructor is called at the time of object creation, you can assign the values at the time of object creation itself, and you can do these things, right?
So Karthik, here default constructor would not be called, right?
Yes, default constructor will not be called. Let's
So
try
we
to
can-
check that. Okay. See, this is not printed, right? So this constructor was never called, because if this constructor was called, this line would have been printed, right? But if you put the same this out here, this is argumented constructor. Let's try to execute this. So now it is called, right? So am I making sense here? Is it clear here?
Yes, Karthik.
So anyone has any other question?
So here we can remove the default constructor, right? There is no need of writing it.
Yes, no need of writing it, but as I said before, it is always good practice to have it, right?
Okay.
even though it doesn't have any purpose in a particular piece of program, it is always good practice to have a default constructor written, because
Okay.
it may be used by some other libraries, it is a very simple project what I have written here. But whenever you are working on a real-time project, things are going to be very complicated. You'll be using different libraries to initialize this different object elsewhere. For example, this automobile object is initialized where? Inside this automobile class itself, but inside a main method. Can we initialize this particular piece of code, 20th line of course, elsewhere inside this new Java test.java here? Can I do that? Anyone? I'm just going to take this code, and can I initialize somewhere here? Yeah, entirely different class called new.java.
Yes, we can declare.
We can declare,
I
right?
mean, we can call. Yeah.
Yes. So that's the whole point, right? Your class may not be called in the same class itself or in different class. So it's always good practice to have a default constructor like this. Right? We'll come to this declaration in the other class in the later classes, but understand that object of one class can be declared or called in the other classes also. That is the main purpose of object oriented programming, right? You have to use the particular automobile. For example, I have some purposes of this automobile class in our class new, right? I need to do something over here, so that I wanted to get the value of year of manufacturer and car make here. I wanted to manipulate some values here. So I have some purpose to use this particular piece of code here. So I can call the automobile object directly and use it here. That's the purpose of object oriented programming. So we'll come to this point later, but understand that it can be initialized elsewhere also. So as far as this particular piece of code goes, I hope it is clear. And what if, can I do something again by declaring a Toyota object here? Can I do that?
Yes, we can do that.
Right? This is also possible. So you can go and create a number of objects like this with Toyota or Maruti or Ford or Fiat. So you can go and create some infinite objects of this particular automobile class like this. Right. So each class represents different area in memory with different values to hold. That's the entire idea. So like people who haven't worked with the constructor or declaring it, please go and work with some basic example like this. I've written automobile, you can go for employer, student, just basic examples elsewhere in the internet, right? Just try to declare, if it's a student, try to declare his name or his kind of roll number or something like that, and try to create a student object and try to print those values here, right? So I think we can wrap up with this. There are more topic to any questions here? Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, Karthik. So in this line number
Hmm.
13 and 15,
Okay.
are make equal to make and year of manufacture year.
Hmm.
So like, what is the meaning of these two things?
Okay.
What was happened here?
Let's do this by debugging itself, right? It will make things more clear. When you double click here on the line number 20, it put some breakpoint here. Can you see that blue color dot?
Yes.
Yes. So when you run in a debug mode, let's say we are running automobile class in a debug mode, the execution passes to this particular line, right? Right. I'll show you. You are highlighting in the green color, right? So execution is now halted in this particular, or kind of paused in this particular line number 20. So what we are going to do, we can either go into this particular piece of code and see line by line what is happening. We're going to do that only. You can see two options here, right? Step into and step over here. Can you see step over? That's a step into.
Yes.
Yes, we can see, right? So step into is like kind of whatever we declared this particular line of code, it will go into each and every block and try to run whatever there in the block. Just go step into, and now it's calling its internal method somewhat here. We'll just go step over again. We'll go step into. Now the constructor is called, right? What's the purpose of this particular line of code? Constructor calling only, right? Now constructor is called here, right?
Yes.
We are going to step into this constructor. Okay, it's going to print our particular piece of code, right? This is an argumentary constructor. System out println 9 is executed. Now if you see line number 13, this make, what we have declared, this make Honda, right?
Right.
So this Honda value only will come in this argument, right? Right? Am I making sense here?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you hover over it, make, what is value it's showing? Honda, right?
Honda.
Yes. But if you hover over car make, what value it is showing?
Null.
Null. Now if we execute this line number 13, what will happen? It will pass this value to this car make. Now if you hover car make, it's showing Honda, right?
Correct.
Okay. Again, if you over this year, it's showing 1996. But if you come here, it will show null. So once this line is executed, it will pass the value 1996 to year of manufacture, right? So purpose of line and 13, 15 to get this value from this argument and pass to this car maker and year of manufacture. That's the purpose.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
am I clear here, or some more explanation is needed?
That's clear.
Anyhow, we have to set this value of car make in year of manufacture. We can do that explicitly by calling honda.carmake is equal honda. Or what we can do, we can initialize in the constructor itself. Constructor will be called when this line of piece of line is executed. This is constructor calling only, right? So our line of execution will come to this constructor calling block, and the Honda and 1996 year, these values are passed in the arguments. We are getting the value from the arguments and assigning it to the particular variables, car make and year of manufacturer declared in the class level, right? That's all we are doing in line 13 and 15. So any other question? Anyone, any other question? We'll be sharing this recording to you within afternoon, so you can have a look at that. So if no one has any other question, can we wrap it up?
So if someone asks what is the use of constructor, we should say like it is used to initialize object.
Yes, it's one of the purpose of constructor.
Okay.
And it's a main purpose actually. Initializing object is the main purpose of the constructor actually.
Okay.
So constructor, yes, initializing object is the main purpose. And one more purpose is what? To execute some piece of code at the time of constructor calling, object initialization itself. Because whatever piece of code you write here will be executed, right, at the time of object creation itself.
Yeah.
So for that purpose also constructor is needed. It's fine. There are many more concepts of constructor which we are going to see tomorrow. I hope whatever is done until here is making sense. So can we wrap up the session? Everyone, can I get a yes?